Hello, welcome to another client experience and insights shared today. I'm Zamir Javer, Jumpfactor CEO, and today we have a special guest from Sunco Communications and Installation, Lori Braguette, that is the marketing director there. And she's here to share some experience of her work in the marketing field, as well as working with Jumpfactor as a lead generation partner for the business. I'll share a little bit of a background just to kind of give some context, and then would love to hand it over to you, Lori, to get some of your insights. So Sunco Communication and Installation has been in business for about 23 years. The company has about 50 individuals and has traditionally been in the telecommunication space, but had recently, before engaging with Jumpfactor, acquired a company to get into the MSP or managed services business. And they have been around and grown consistently. The founders and leadership of the firm are recognized leaders in their communities and industry, and have been recognized by the Ernst & Young Leaders Award. And this is some of the background for the company there. Now, Lori's been at Sunco for just under 3 years and brings over 20 years of experience from the marketing field. She's worked at many different Fortune 500 companies, including Oracle, EMC, and several others, and so has a very unique perspective in terms of executing marketing campaigns as well as working with third-party vendors like Jumpfactor. So welcome, Lori, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Zamir. Thank you for having me.
So, Lori, I'll hand it over to you. Maybe you can share a little bit for our audience, just what is Sunco focused on from a business target market perspective, and a little bit about your responsibility at the firm there.
Yeah, for sure. Sunco Communication Installation is, we like to put it, a trusted system integrator. We discovered that communications and IT actually come hand in hand, and a lot of decisions are made, with the cloud after the pandemic, things like that, that it made sense that decisions were being made around communications and IT. So we recently acquired a small MSP in British Columbia to further our scope of product offerings to our clients.
Wonderful. And yeah, and I sort of understand that was part of what led to the initial engagement with Jumpfactor. And maybe you can expand for our viewers a little bit. What was involved in the selection process? What kind of led to partnering with Jumpfactor, and any kind of other parameters that sort of you were considering at the time?
Yeah, for sure. In my experience, when I go to a third-party vendor, lead generation agency, I look for a strategic partner, someone that can be an extension of my team, of my marketing team, because I can't be an expert in everything. So I look for the expertise. It's very, complicated, doing this type of work. And I needed a mechanism to drive leads within the organization. And from my experience, Google is the place that people start, and people, even in a complex situation that they need solved, they approach it digitally. So we need to be on top of that. And I found that Jumpfactor was a perfect partner to us to help us build that digital arm that we needed to get out to these people. Clients, potential clients.
Excellent, great. And so, yeah, I see that we started back in January 2021. So it's been about 2.5 years, and looks like about halfway through, the program was also expanded, almost doubled in scope to expand into different service areas and geographical areas. And so obviously there's been some success that would justify this. The other sort of thing I can share is a little bit on some of the metrics and KPIs. So today, with regards to, there's a few different components, of course, SEO, content marketing, different channels that we're evaluating now going forward as well to add on. But from the SEO perspective, the visibility of the site, it looks like, has gone from 1,900 keywords ranking to a total of over 7,000 today.
Yeah.
The traffic level has close to tripled, and is continuing to accelerate as a number of the ranks move into the top spots. And of course, the lead flow has started to accelerate, going from almost minimal to no leads in the beginning, ramping up to over 12. And I understand that there's been several deals closed and there's a pipeline in place some of the notes here I have just from your discussion with our team was there's been 6 deals closed to date. And there's over 24 additional deals in the pipeline, many of which are MRR opportunities, managed services retainers, which would have a large lifetime value in terms of revenue. Just curious if there's anything you can share from that perspective, in terms of impact on the business from a, ROI, just in terms of deals in pipeline, and how has this changed or transformed how you manage deal flow internally with the sales team?
Well, prior, we didn't have a lead engine coming in. Jumpfactor has helped us with that, obviously, with the stats that you've said. There's a whole part before that. I call those sales qualified leads and opportunities, actual proposals out the door. But we actually have a healthy pipeline. You guys have contributed to our healthy pipeline as well. And what this has contributed to is internally, we've had to create a sales board in order to manage the leads. So an actual automation mechanism, when the lead comes in, goes on our sales board, it is triaged to our salespeople and our inside sales folks to manage that, where before it was a little bit more manual. So that just came about because there was very good quality and much more of them. So we needed to have a management mechanism put into place. So that's very exciting.
Excellent. Yeah, I know. And I know sales teams obviously get pumped when they see warm or hot leads coming in. They tend to close
Yes.
faster. Sales cycles can be shorter. And just for some context for the viewers, Sunco Communications and Installation has offices, and some of the focuses are in Edmonton, Red Deer, I believe some in BC and Calgary. Was that correct as well?
We actually service all of Canada,
Okay.
but our focus, really Alberta and British Columbia right now. But yeah, we have MSP clients in Ontario, Newfoundland. We've had leads come from right across Canada.
Wonderful. So one of the things that is always important when selecting a partner that I think would be insightful to get some view from your side is, how have you found working with the team? What's been the experience from the project management side, responsiveness, and how has it been sort of engaging back and forth with your marketing team?
Well, there's a couple things. Earlier, I mentioned I needed, a strategic partner to be extension of our team, and I really feel that. And we collaborate weekly. We are strategic together in planning. They understand our business. They make every effort to understand our needs and what we offer, both sides of the business, the MSP and the telco side of the business. And also I look to Jumpfactor, yourself included, and your team. What are the next trends? What's coming down over the next year? AI obviously is one of the things, and you guys are very um, you understand it. You're sort of ahead of the curve, and you provide valuable insights on, okay, we need to go down this path or think about this. In addition to, I guess, our business as usual lead generation activity that we do.
Yeah, that's key. The marketing space that we're in, the digital fields, changes so rapidly. And of course, right now there's generative AI coming out. There's AI in general impacting the execution side of things. So there's so many factors and we sort of pride ourselves in making sure that we're not only staying ahead to leverage the tools for the benefit of our clients like yourselves, and also being mindful of the impact of the lead generation channels and how do we have to adapt to Google and Facebook and the different platforms, because the tactics will change as well. And so, in that regard, obviously, you've spoken with a number of different team members. Typically, there's a pod behind the scenes of 8 to 13 specialists,
Yes.
across everything from outbound to marketing automation, email, social design, SEO, paid content. What's been your experience in terms of I guess the knowledge level and expertise level of the team that you've been interacting with?
Well, it's amazing. Obviously, we offer complex solutions, and it's nice to talk to, people that understand, what goes on behind the scenes for our clients when they're, putting out a new, whatever IT services, security. cybersecurity, which is huge right now. Actually, your team helps me understand it as well, which is really important. So I appreciate that because you're experts in this area, not just as a lead generation marketing firm, but also the subject matter experts. I mean, the writing of blogs and our lead magnets and all the different content is exceptional. I mean, I do review it, and I must say I don't make any changes because
Yeah.
it's not required.
That's great. Yeah, and
That's
it's
helpful.
important.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's got to be layers of research and quality assurance, and we try to tailor the output, and whether it's content or how we're representing the brand, to be in line with your brand tone, messaging framework, and so on, which is often rare. I guess rarer from what we've seen, where other agencies, or especially lower cost agencies, will be more focused on just cranking out deliverables, and they're usually a lot more templated. And the end outcome, unfortunately, is that you don't end up being differentiated in the market, and you also don't attract the bigger ticket clients. So, one of the other things that would be really helpful for some of our audience to understand as well is anything else, first of all, that you have seen as a real added value or benefit. And secondly, what would you find should be some of the key things that a marketing executive or executive at another MSP should look out for when selecting a partner, if they're really looking to step on the gas for growth? What should they look for in a lead gen partner?
One thing that I really appreciate, well, many things I appreciate, but one thing that I can talk to my pod to is just the changing shift of the buyer. You understand that nowadays, people, they start with Google, they start digitally educating themselves. Even it doesn't matter how complex it is. I just saw a stat. I think it was McKinsey saying that people are comfortable to spend up to 500K. That's a $500,000 online. They'll do it online.
Hmm.
So I think that's really important to have a partner that helps a company shift with that digital disruption of a buyer. It's super important, and you guys understand that, and help me understand that so that we can make the right decisions moving forward.
Yeah, wonderful. And anything specific in terms of guidance on selection of an agency for an MSP that's looking to find a partner? What should they look out for, and anything maybe specific that comes to mind?
Well, I mean the whole package. I've mentioned before about monitoring, measuring, and having this cadence to understand, you know, where we are, where we're going, where about we should be, and if we have to change direction in some cases. As well, when I started with you guys, we had a very extensive sort of discovery call to learn about Sunco and our ideal customer and our buyer personas and that kind of thing. Like it was very in depth. To so that you could understand who we're selling to. I think that's so important. You can't just go and do things without knowing who's going to buy
Hmm.
what you're selling. So it helped us be the understanding how we differentiate in the market, and that was key. Um, a big success factor right now that's helping us.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, those are great insights, Lori. I really appreciate some of your feedback. And of course, we're still in some of the early stages on the expanded program. So we're really excited about being able to drive a lot more consistent leads as we're already seeing, and ramping that up, and having those translate into this new MRR. Thanks again for taking the time to share some of your insights. It's always a pleasure to connect, and have the best rest of the day.
Thank you, Zamir. Take care.
Thank you.